Aloha, friends, and welcome. My name is Maria Emmerich. This is my husband, Craig Emmerich. I am a nutritionist, and Craig is the scientist. And we specialize in the keto and carnivore lifestyle. And we've been helping clients for the past 20 years, over 20 years. Our kids eat keto carnivore, and they are 13 and 14, and they've never been healthier. But today we want to talk to you about GLP-1s, what they are, maybe some benefits of taking them, the downsides of taking them, and what we think of them for our clients. So welcome everybody. We are in the African safari, and if we sit here, maybe I shouldn't move so much, because yesterday we were right here and a huge herd of elephants came. It was pretty spectacular, wasn't it?
It was
like
incredible.
The best lunch ever.
There's at least 20 elephants all over here drinking in the water, drinking out of our pool.
Yeah, it's fresh water.
Incredible.
There's no chlorine in it, so they actually drink quite a bit of the pool water. They said they have to fill it all the time.
Keep refilling it because the elephants always come and drink the fresh water out of the pool.
So cool. But yeah, so we're gonna have. There's always monkeys back here. Well, they're not monkeys. What are they? Orangutan? No.
They were a type of monkey.
A type of monkey. There's always animals, so keep your eyes open. Elephants all the time.
And lots of the impala, or what's the other one that's usually walking around here eating? Can't remember the name of it.
There's impala and like mapa. I don't know.
Yeah, impala or something.
And we should tell them we're at the Royal Malawi.
Malawane
in South Africa.
Yeah,
so.
Now it's on the west side of the Kruger National Park, and now today actually, we're heading to the other side of Kruger, to the east side, to go to Singita.
And it's been spectacular. Like even this morning it was drizzling a little bit, but we decided to still go out on a game drive, and I'm so glad we did, because we came across a bunch of lions on the road because they don't like to be wet in the tall grass, so they're on the road. And all of a sudden they started running towards us because an elephant was charging them. So I got the elephant.
And the elephant came flying around the corner, trumpeting. And
I'll post it on my Instagram, so watch for that. It was really cool.
Pretty incredible. But today we want to talk about GLP-1s, because we get a lot of questions about that.
Our coaches ask all the time. And Carrie Camp, thank you for bringing this up this last time, because there's a new GLP-1.
Yeah, there's a new one that, everybody's talking about. It's Zepbound.
Because it's approved for weight loss only.
Yeah, for just weight loss. You don't have to have type 2 diabetes. It's basically the same ingredients as Mounjaro, but Mounjaro is approved for
diabetes.
Type 2 diabetes, where this Zepbound is approved for
weight loss.
Obesity, basically.
Yeah, but people who aren't obese are taking it. People that are just wanting to lose 10 pounds are taking it, and they're going to lose that 10 pounds of muscle, and that's what the problem is. But we're going to get into that.
Hey everyone, we are on a little safari here in Africa, and I got a little friend right behind me here, eating some grass and some trees. He's not a carnivore, but if you are, it's great to keep your electrolytes up, and especially when you travel, if you keep your electrolytes up, it really helps. I actually personally find I don't go number 2 as often if I don't bring my electrolytes along when I travel. I'll go 2-3 days without. But LMNT is great for travel. It's easy to pack. We really like it. And if you go to drinklmnt.com, watch out, /Keto Maria, you can get a free sample pack with order. So check it out, drinklmnt.com /Keto Maria, and get a free sample pack with any order. So yeah.
But like, what do they do? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about them. GLP-1 is glucagon-like peptide 1, so that's GLP-1.
Which is a hormone.
It's a hormone, and it acts on the pancreas, and it basically makes the pancreas put out more insulin in response to glucose spikes. It also slows down digestion, which also slows down the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream. So really, if you think about it, all they're doing is, we talk all the time about what happens when you eat a lot of carbohydrates. You spike your blood sugar, and that rapidly spiking and rapidly falling blood sugar after it starts to get driven back down causes hunger. a falling blood glucose causes hunger when it's got a big spike.
Yeah, this is why you can go to like a Chinese buffet and eat all the white rice and the sugar chicken, and maybe an hour later you're like, yeah, I could have some ice cream. You just had like a buffet.
Or eat a 1,000-calorie blizzard, and 2 hours later
you should be
you're hungry.
full. But
it's because the blood sugar is starting to crash because it had that rapid rise and crash. So the slowing of the digestion slows the rise. The increasing of insulin output from the pancreas also keeps the rise from getting too high and slows and levels it out.
But hold on, all of these books say if insulin rises, you gain weight.
And so there's people in this community that tend to really lean on insulin as that's the factor, that's the thing that causes obesity. But these are drugs that are increasing insulin, and people are losing weight. So it's another example of it's not just insulin. Insulin's a factor, and chronically elevated insulin,
that's
like fasting insulin being chronically elevated, and we talked about this in my presentation that I've been doing, and I'm going to be doing at KetoCon. Hack Your Health next year.
Use code Maria to save.
We hope to talk about this as well.
Yeah.
But fasting insulin is much more important than insulin spikes with food, and this proves that again because this is increasing the insulin spike with food, and people are losing weight, and so it's that fasting insulin, that insulin that's high all day long, due to metabolic breakdown, that is the real problem and cause here. And so, just kind of an interesting little point there that this drug is increasing insulin and making people lose weight
fast. They lose weight fast, but there's issues with that. A lot of people are deciding to go on that, and some people are saying it's the easy way out. I deal with a lot of people with food addiction, but I do want you to understand the risks of taking these drugs. And the first one, they studied a lot of mice, and they studied that they get.
Well, let's touch on the new one's called Zepbound, but there's other ones like semaglutide. There's
semaglutide.
Sorry, Mounjaro. There's
tirzepatide, but they're like that's
what's the other one that's real common? Shoot, I forgot it now.
That's the medical name,
Yeah.
The Ozempic. That's the
Ozempic is another one. Yeah.
Well, it's not another one. It's
another brand.
Okay.
But they're all GLP-1s.
Yeah.
They all do similar action, and so we're talking really about all of these when we talk about the studies and we talk about the information because they all act very similar. They have the same action in the body, and so.
Well, what you were saying is how they slow digestion. The biggest issue with that is it's causing gastroparesis in people. And believe me, we know many people in our lives that have come to us and they've gotten better, but they suffer with gastroparesis. And you do not want this.
So that's
terrible.
That's one of the big side effects that you're going to see. But when you dig even deeper, this is where it gets kind of.
Can I just continue on with that
before
you go on to the next one? But this also causes acid reflux. So the food sits in your stomach longer because that's how you don't get hungry, because it slows digestion. But this is why I usually have people take like hydrochloric acid with pepsin because they usually get acid reflux or heartburn. But you also will get either diarrhea or constipation because it's all changing your digestion of how you process the food. But when the food sits in your gut for too long, this is when it causes the gastroparesis. This is not a good thing. So you just want to make sure you're aware of that risk.
Definitely. You want to go to the next one?
Yeah. Sorry. The thyroid cancer?
Thyroid cancer.
Yep.
So there's another study that recently came out about GLP-1s, and they looked at, and this was a mice study, but still you can get some interesting data there that could possibly cross over to humans, and that's why they do those studies. And what they looked at was thyroid cancers, and with GLP-1s, they found that all thyroid cancers increased by 50%, and one certain type increased by 80% in the mice that took the GLP-1s.
That's a lot, people.
So there's definitely some possible thyroid concerns here that we want to watch out for as well.
Another problem with this is the cost. It averages $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. Just think of what you could do. You could buy really good quality.
Let's compare it, right? Let's compare doing this, $1,000 a month,
and you don't have to change anything, which is why people like it. If you just change your diet, it costs you $0 per month. You're just buying different food, right?
I would do some quality food.
And a lot of people, well, yeah, or if you want to spend extra, spend it on, more quality, organic, whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, though, even, buying organic and quality,
They save money.
they save money from what they were from the processed food junk, because
Yeah.
that stuff, you eat more of it, it's more expensive for packaged foods.
Yep.
So, cooking and whole foods are going to be more
Eating
cost
healthier
effective.
is not more expensive, people. Let's just take a
Yeah.
break on that. Craig and I did this really cool video when the boys were little. It's so cute. It's on YouTube. Micah stayed with me and Kai went with Craig. And we have a Chipotle about, 3 miles away?
Yeah.
And you went at about 2:30.
5, I think, total.
You went about 2:30 in the afternoon, which is not a busy time.
Yep.
And you brought Kai and you got Chipotle to go and brought it home. In the meantime, Mike and I used all organic ingredients. We made Chipotle at home, which we have the recipe for you. Not only were we done eating, we cleaned up, and we had leftovers by the time he got home. It cost about a third of the amount, even using all organic ingredients. So
And we had
it is
leftovers versus
right.
not having
I just
leftovers.
mentioned that,
So,
but it is not cheaper. It does not take less time, but it's maybe easier. But teach your kids to cook, people, because
Yeah.
that is the future. But it's not cheaper and it's not faster.
so in reality, you could probably change your diet for no additional cost. It doesn't cost you anything, maybe even saves you money,
Yep.
to change your diet to eat healthier. And not only is that going to save you $1,000 a month versus these drugs, guess what? You've created a new habit and you've created a new lifestyle. That one of the big things with these drugs is you stop using them, the weight comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So are you going to spend $1,000 a month and take this drug forever? If you don't change your diet, you're going to have to. And so
Wow.
if you go back to, changing your diet, you will also lose the weight and keep it off because you changed your diet.
$1,000 a month, Craig. I'd much rather go on an African safari.
Yeah.
Save your money and come
Couple years, here you
come
go.
on a safari with us instead. But another big thing, like you're talking about, the weight comes back on. It's fat gain because you just lost all the muscle, so
Well,
your metabolic
let's
rate
Let's
sucks.
talk about one of the biggest side effects.
Well, that thyroid cancer is scary. 80%.
Yeah. Well,
Yikes.
one of the biggest
That's going to happen to
studied
everybody.
and whatever side effects that I'll relate to that fact is that the studies have shown that GLP-1s you'll lose 30 to 50 in the one study, which was a younger a group of younger people. 30 to 50% of the weight loss was muscle. Now let's talk about that. We have a great video I'll link about protein and how to lose weight that's almost all fat that we talked to Dr. Donna Lehman,
Protein's very modified fasting, people.
where you lose almost all fat but you maintain your muscle. And the way to do that is get good macros, but also strength train or even just stretch and yoga. And you can get that muscle loss down to about 5%, which is like the ideal.
I would say most of the clients that I work with are in a situation where they can't work out physically, and so we just focus on stretching and yoga and
Just a little movement, little stretching,
Yep.
anything like that. Dr. Lehman said you can get that from maybe 15% with a good diet, with no activity, down to 8%
a muscle loss.
of muscle loss with stretching, yoga, etc. So that's pretty good.
But what's the average with using a GLP-1?
So that's what I'm trying to get to.
Oh,
is-
sorry.
So you're pushing it to 5% if you strength train, maybe 8%
With
if you're
protein sparing?
just
Oh,
so
sorry.
it doesn't matter with whatever. So if you have good macros and diet, and then you do strength training, you can get it to like 5%. If you have good macros and you strength training yoga, you can even get to maybe 8% or 7%, which is pretty close and pretty good. If you don't do any activity, it might be more like 15%, which is not great, but not terrible.
But this
Now,
is going to be slow.
GLP-1s,
But that's going to be slow weight loss.
GLP-1s
That's what people don't like.
have shown that they're 30 to 50%
Whoa.
in the muscle loss. So all the way, so you lose 20 pounds, okay? Half of that, 10 pounds, was muscle. That's not good. And we all know muscle's not easy to build. I mean, you go to a bodybuilder and ask them, we got a deer coming through.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I can't remember what those are called. If you go to a bodybuilder and say, how long will it take you to put on 10 pounds of muscle? It's going to take a while. like that might be 6 months to a year.
Everybody,
of
all these women think they're
very
going
a
to
lot of
bulk.
effort.
Women think they'll bulk up in the gym, and it's hard work, people.
And so, and there's another study that I understand that, one of the things that in the Dr. Lehman video we talked about too was that as you get older, the muscle loss happens more and is even harder to regain. And so there's I believe a study that was looking at GLP-1s in people like over 50, and it was like 50 to 70%
trouble
muscle loss. The weight loss was 50 to 70% muscle. And just go back to your original point. When you gain the weight back, it's fat. As soon as you go off the GLP-1. So let's talk about GLP-1, right? You go on it, you lose 20 pounds, but 10 pounds or more was muscle. And then you gain 20 pounds back, but it's all fat. So you just lowered your basal metabolic rate, your BMR.
Body composition sucks.
So your BMR went down, which means you burn less calories all day long because muscle burns more calories. So your BMR goes down, you added fat, and now you have to eat less just to maintain even that added fat level.
The less muscle you have, the less places you have for glucose to go. Like having muscle is really great because you can actually handle some more sugar or carbohydrates.
I can also link to our video on this about shrinking your fat cells and reversing insulin resistance.
That's a really good one if you haven't watched that.
And the basic premise is the ideal way to do it, the ideal way to improve your metabolic health and reverse type 2 diabetes is to maintain or grow muscle, giving glucose more place to go, and shrink your fat cells or lose body fat.
So how can they do that? Really fast, because people want to fast like with GLP-1s. We have a solution, people.
Eat the proper macros. I mean,
I would say protein-sparing modified fasting.
Well, you can add that 1 or 2 days a week to speed it up even more.
Don't do this if you're only 10 pounds overweight, people, because you are going to be protein You're going to be so hungry. We do not do that anymore.
Protein sparing is a tool, especially if you're very overweight, to increase the fat loss while not losing muscle.
Yeah. So, speaking of tools, the GLP-1s are tools for some people because I do definitely have those who are food addicts and they need to break that addiction. And this is where it's a short-term tool for those who are actually obese and sick, to use it in a very short term to actually change your diet and your palate, because you can change your taste buds over in 15 days. So if you cut something out of your life for 15 days, that's like a fart in the wind, people. Like, you can do that. It's 15 days. You can change your palate so you don't crave those foods anymore. And sure, you probably need to do the GLP longer than 15 days. But if you do it for maybe 3 months or a short period of time,
while changing your diet
and probably strength training, I would say, and focusing or yoga and focusing on protein. Hey, strength training does not have to be hard.
I agree.
I've been doing like tricep dips on here, like it's all good.
Some people just don't like that, and they'd rather stretch and do yoga if that's all you.
What's your favorite show? And
let's be honest, if depending on your size, if you're very obese, it might be better just to do the stretching.
Tyler was one of our clients who was 650 pounds. He lost 100 pounds in 2 months on protein sparing. He had quads like no other because just getting up and down from sitting, that was so much weight for him. So like whatever your body is, you don't I don't have any hand weights here.
It could definitely be, the strength training part can easily be, if you're able to do them, body weight exercises, squats, pistol squats, push-ups, all that.
Let's say that they're immobile. The biggest thing is eating protein.
Yeah.
So
diet, we'll go back to it. Weight loss, fat loss, number one is diet. Like 90%.
100%. Yeah,
so
90%.
The 10% that is a little help on the weight loss side, fat loss side, is strength training and activity. But it mainly helps on the not losing the muscle you currently have, which is a big benefit to your metabolic health, and keep your BMR high so that you don't have a down regulation of the metabolic rate, and then you have to eat less.
But let's talk about some of the excuses people have, because I get this a lot. I travel for work all the time. They say, I can't eat protein. I travel for work probably more than you do. I was home 8 days the past 3 months. I travel all the time and I focus on protein. Even here in Africa, like that's all we're eating is protein.
Yeah, pretty much. And
fish,
anywhere you go, they're going to have steak. They're going to have, boneless burger. They're going to have
eggs.
you know, they're
They
gonna
have
have
biltong here.
protein
They have
sources.
jerky. I pack. I have like tuna steaks in my carry-on. Like it's.
If you're like keto and you're looking for like a keto dessert and those kind of things,
Oh,
you
the
don't
good
really.
chocolate.
Well, I'm
Really.
saying a restaurant's not gonna have that.
No.
You don't really need that but pack something like a good chocolate.
Yes, because like the good chocolate. I'm gonna go grab that. You keep talking.
And so, you can make this as easy as you want, or as difficult as you want. If you want to make all the fancy breads and keto treats, you can do that as long as you watch your macros and all that. But you can also make it really easy and just eat protein, grill, spices.
But
done.
I'm okay. I like little sweet treats. I get it.
Yep.
I have one every single day, and I have my whole weight loss journey. But it was always a protein one. So like I have protein sparing ice cream recipes that are dairy free, packed with protein, delicious. The angel food cake is all protein. Like I could eat the whole. I could probably eat a half a cake, and be super full and not feel one bit of guilt because it was just like 9 egg whites for the half of the cake.
Yeah.
You know, like
So,
why do I feel bad about that? I don't.
Great protein.
But the thing about being expensive, it's expensive to eat junky to me because you go to a restaurant and order a dessert, like that's gonna be at least $7, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pack the good chocolate with you. The good chocolate is sweetened with stevia. I mean, I know I'm doing a promo, but I love them. The boys,
Yeah.
I can't believe it was gone. I came home. I told you I was only home 8 days. We got a box for Kai's birthday, and it was gone.
And they don't have a big sweet tooth either.
They don't. But this one, they did a special chocolate bar, the Ethiopian coffee for Kai, who loves Ethiopian.
And it's got us on there.
Yeah,
on the back.
talks about us on the back. But if you use
Our
code
story.
Maria, you save. They're doing a really big deal for Black Friday, so don't miss that out.
And you have a big thing coming up, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, giveaway, lots of giveaways. So check that out. But we hope that helps with everybody's confusion about GLP-1s, what they are, the risks, the benefits, how to use them properly. Short term people.
Yeah.
Change your diet. I used to, like, I used to not be able to. I would make a whole pan of cinnamon rolls and I would eat them myself. You didn't eat them, when you were traveling all the time. And just changing my palate, I never thought I could do that. Ever.
And that's
But now I'm so
the
removed.
One way that GLP-1s will help you,
Yeah.
right? Is to be the transition
I
tool
didn't-
to help you.
I didn't have that tool, but I would make my protein sparing cinnamon rolls in substitution for that. And now I don't even really crave that. Like sweets
Yeah.
aren't, I mean, it's fine, but
And so to kind of wrap it up on GLP-1s, maybe it's a transition tool. If it's something that, maybe you try keto and you just can't, the cravings are too bad in the beginning, you can't get through that first month or whatever to transition, maybe it's a tool to help control cravings to get you through the transition, and then you go off and continue with diet till you get to your goals.
I've heard
But-
I'm sorry.
Well, I say, but at the end of the day, let's talk a little bit about that. If you do that, then you really got to focus on strength training.
Mm-hmm.
Like you really have to focus on protein and focus on strength training to limit the muscle you're losing during that transition because of the GLP-1. But the other option, if we want to talk about what are the options here, there's GLP-1s or change your diet, right? GLP-1s, $1,000 a month. You're going to lose a bunch of muscle. You then will have a lower BMR when you're done taking it because you can't take it forever. So if you don't change your diet, you'll gain all of the weight back in fat, even though you lost a bunch of muscle. Your BMR is lower. You have to eat less just to maintain that added level of fat. And be pretty miserable at that point, right?
Well, that's the thing. I've heard some of these obesity experts say it really does help the people that it's meant to help that have type 2 diabetes and these severe, like they're going to lose a limb, right? So they're like, should they lose a limb or should they take these GLP-1s? But here's the thing. They're not connecting how much muscle loss will happen. They stop the GLP-1 and they don't have as much muscle for the glucose to go, making the type 2 diabetes worse. So
Yeah. So metabolically, you'll be in a worse position
Right.
after you stop taking it. And, the alternative, change your diet.
yeah, and we have
Get
great
your-
recipe. What's not to love about our food?
People talk about it being restrictive.
No.
I think going off of GLP-1 and now you have to eat less just to
Oh,
maintain
yeah.
is being more restrictive than
I wish I could eat
eating
more.
until you're full. Just eat the right foods,
Mm-hmm.
right? Change your diet, which you got to do anyway if you want that weight loss on a GLP-1 to stick. You got to change your diet. So change it. Keep your muscle, keep your BMR up so you can be satiated and eat, lots of good healthy foods.
Yeah, people talk about like longevity of life. I would much rather maybe live to only 80 and be super strong and healthy rather than be 110 and be very weak and not have the muscle. Like quality for
Definitely.
me anyway.
Definitely.
I think the big takeaway is, he said it about 100 times, change your diet, which is good. I think that's what we need to tell people.
And it's what you have to do. Any diet on the planet, GLP-1 or fad diet, is going to fail if you go off the diet after you lost the weight and go back to your old ways that made you gain the weight in the first place. That's yo-yo dieting, and this is like an extreme version of yo-yo dieting if you go off.
If you're listening on the Keto Adapted site, we have thousands of free recipes for you guys. Ready? You just search, protein sparing or protein. You know how to use the fat lever, right? And I love that recipe index you made. The fat lever, the protein lever, so you can pick that fits your personal macros. And if you haven't got them done, you got to get your macros done, right? That's like step number 1 if you're new.
For platinum
members,
group coaching members, and then there's also, of course, the meal planner tool where you can then pick our recipes, make a meal plan, and it calculates the day's macros automatically.
If you are interested in strength training, we have 2 different levels. You have level 1, which is included with a platinum membership of me and one of my best friends teaching body pump. And so you can follow us along with body pump, whether you use just your body weight or hand weights, whatever. But then we have an advanced option where we had a strength training professional coach design a whole bunch of levels of strength training videos that you get for life.
And we'll give them a teaser here.
Yeah.
Black Friday deal coming up. You're going to get, if you purchase a 3-month platinum, you get the strength training videos for 3 months for free.
Nice.
Which they're normally, I think, $80.
Yeah, but once you purchase them, you get it for life. So that's
not
nice.
as part of this deal.
Right.
This deal, for the 3 months, you get platinum and the strength training.
Purchase this so you have it for life. Because I still do it. I just do it, and I know it so well that I can have like a show in the background, and it goes by like that. It's the only way I watch TV. I don't sit still well, if you haven't noticed. But anyway, change your diet, get active. I feel so much better lifting weights again. I don't know.
So that's GLP-1s and what we think about them and some of the implications around them.
And, comment below on what we should discuss next week, and we will cover all of that for all of you. So, bye, Africa.